Kevin Windham, Atlanta 2002, was the beginning of that made this new beginning possible. K-Dub returns to the city of the South like a phoenix from the ashes, rising back to prominence to contend for the victory. To chase after Chad Reed and the Supercross title shot that would make his career complete. The greatest motocross riders in the world have come to Atlanta. 250 Supercross racing is next. Welcome to Georgia. You are looking at Centennial Olympic Park, host site of the 1996 Olympic Summer Games. But tonight it's all about the THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series indoors at the Georgia Dome. And hello once again, everybody. Todd Harris, along with a man who has forgotten more about Supercross than most of us will ever know. Of course, Davey Coombs from RacerX Magazine, the founder and editor. Davey, tonight, Chad Reed really can go a long way to get a stranglehold on this title.
Yeah, he sure can. Chad's been doing all the right things from the get-go. If he gets the whole shot, he goes ahead and wins the race. If he doesn't get a good start, he rides smart, he gets second, and that's the way championships are built. You get the most possible points, and you move on, and that's why he's #1.
Let's talk about the feel-good story. What's turning into the feel-good story this year? Of course, Kevin Windham.
Well, you know what? You hear people talk about untimely injuries. An injury is never timely, but in the case of Kevin Windham, if you look back 2 years ago when he came into Atlanta, he was burned out. He was getting lapped. He just wasn't himself. When he got hurt, he was forced to take some time off and let him reevaluate his situation. He got to live a normal life, but when he came back, he was better than ever. He's smoother, he's faster, he's stronger. This K-Dub is better than the original.
Well, it was 2 years to the date that he hurt himself here in Atlanta, and here's what he had to say about that incident.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely mind over matter when you come back to a stadium where you've had a rough go, you know, and that was the roughest of my career, was here in Atlanta when I broke my femur. And, you know, I know exactly where it was in the stadium, and when I was walking the track, I actually even thought about it, you know, like, man, this is where I was laying. And, you know, I've thought about it a lot, but when I strap on my helmet and I go out there and I race, I have to put all that behind me, and that's just part of it. And I think you find that in every professional sport. At some point, you have to cross that bridge. You know, whether it's you know, NASCAR, maybe your dad died and you win a Daytona, or you know, you come back and you have a rhythm section right where you were laying on the ground 2 years ago. So, you know, I think that I've overcome it, and we'll just see. You know, I felt good on the track, and it was a little weird walking it, but you know, fortunately, when you ride, things are happening so quick. I don't have time to think about, you know, the old days.
You know, Todd, he talks about the old days, but the old Kevin Windham was kind of fragile. He'd sort of buckle under pressure. Not this one. As we've seen time and again with Chad Reed, he's up to the challenge.
Well, tonight is the night for him to string 2 wins together and put some distance on Chad Reed. And remember, it all leads up to Las Vegas, the official destination of Supercross. And folks, if I give you some advice, get your tickets now. They're going fast. As we take a look at the AMA point standings right now, there it is. Chad Reed on top, Kevin Windham in second, and David Vuillemin lurking behind in third. Taking a look at the THQ World Supercross GP points, Damon Huffman out in front, then Grant Langston, Heath Voss, Tyler Evans, and Keith Johnson rounding out the top 5. Right now, let's check in with the third member of our broadcast team today, Robbie Floyd.
Well, in the World Supercross point standings at the first of the year, we thought it would be Ernesto Fonseca, especially after his win in Arnhem, Holland. But after San Diego and his injury, he was out of it. So Tyler Evans stepped up. He was hot at the first of the year, but he's gotten colder since then. So then Grant Langston, of course, he's the 125 motocross champion. He should win this thing, right? No, he's worked his way back through the pack. That leaves one guy, Damon Huffman. This guy has been the modicum of consistency this year. After finishing second in the Canadian Nationals, he has found this newfound confidence. He took some wins in those Canadian Nationals. He likes it on top. I have not seen him ride this fast in over 10 years. Who would have thought in our last stop in Vegas, it'd be 2004 World Supercross champion Damon Huffman, not me.
All right, thank you very much, Robbie. Right now, before we go racing, it's time for the MX Unleashed Track Experience.
It's time to take a ride around the Georgia Dome on the back of Subway MX Racing's Jason Thomas. This week's MX Unleashed track experience right here. He crosses what's going to be our first turn. A little hitch there, bank turn. Right away we go into the first triple. It's going to be really crowded the first lap. It's relatively easily. Makes the 90-degree corner. And then a few step-on, step-offs here. Jason takes the high line. Make another right-hander. And then a little double, triple. And then the first big triple on the racetrack. Again, it's kind of easy. You make a corner and then going to go back across the starting line, but check it out. You want to get up on top there, hit your back wheel off that, scrub some speed, come across the front of the starting line. Another little section of step on, step off, and then two bank turns. 180 this way, 180 back, and then we got some fast, flat riding down across the start line. Goes into a hairpin right, and then here come the whoops. A lot different this week. Not the ones you pound. You can jump through them, but watch out for those ruts. A bank turn, and then that's it, the finish line, and that's this week's MX Unleashed track experience.
As we take a look at our starting grid, Kevin Windham, David Vuillemin, Michael Byrne, Nick Way, Sean Hamlin, Eric Vallejo, Ryan Clark, and the rest of the crew. As we take a look at Jason Thomas, who will also be running our helmet cam. This is 250, heat number 1 from the Georgia Dome as the 30 board goes sideways.
Well, it looks like Kevin Windham coming right up the middle. And no, Travis Preston held on a little longer. Too long, as it turns out. Windham out front, and then you've got Hamlin. That's the kind of start Kevin wanted to have tonight.
How quick the fortunes changed for Travis Preston. Looks like he was in perfect position as he went to square it off. 4 bikes in front of him. So number 14, Kevin Windham, the prodigal son, returns to the Georgia red clay, and he is off and running. Sean Hamlin sits in second, David Vuillemin in third as we go on board with Jason Thomas, who will be running the helmet cam out of Melrose, Florida, the Honda CRF 450R Subway Honda FLY Fly Yoshimura and Scott Michelin sponsored rider.
Well, Windham is off to an amazing start. It looks like he's trying to exercise those Georgia Dome demons. Tell you what, he gets a butterfinger hole shot like that in the main event, and Windham could be a runaway winner just like he was at Minnesota last week.
Kevin Windham on that big thumper 4-stroke, looking like he's got seriously points to prove. We talked about at the top of the show, Davey. Now is the time for Windham to string together 2 victories.
He's already looking ahead. Oh, we got a rider down a little further back in the pack. Looks like all the principals got through.
Windham out in front safely. Behind him, David Vuillemin has moved into second place. Sean Hamlin now has slid into third.
Unfortunately, that is Eric Vallejo, who is down right in front of our THQ finish line. And you see David Vuillemin gone largely overshadowed because of the duel developing between his teammate Chad Reed and Kevin Windham. A little further back, Sean Hamlin and Nick Way, a couple Suzuki teammates. Both those guys looking for the first podium finish. Good way to start is to move up and battle with Windham or Vuillemin here in this heat race.
Sean Hamlin currently sitting in third place. A lot of talent with this young man. If you had to put your finger on why Sean Hamlin has a podium more, what would it be?
Well, I'll tell you what, I think it's his health. He's got to stay healthy long enough to get into that Supercross rhythm. You know, you can't just, get lucky in Supercross. You got to be good for 20 laps, and there's so many things out there, so many obstacles. You can see the yellow flags waving. That's what happens when you make one little mistake, as Eric Vallejo is down. But I think that's what Hamlin's problem has been. He hasn't been able to really develop as a Supercross racer.
As we take a look at Travis Preston right now, having a great battle with number 26, Michael Byrne. Preston making the jump up from the 125 West Circuit, now on board in the 250 class. Sliding forward, number 36 is Sean Hamlin. Number 27 is Nick Way, both men on a Suzuki.
Kevin Windham has largely left the picture. You don't really see him anymore as you see the 2 Suzuki sneaking up on that blue bike. You see Nick Way coming along the inside. Track is starting to get a little rougher. It used to be that the Atlanta race was one of the toughest of the year simply because it used to be held at the old Fulton County Stadium, but now they got it indoors. They still can't get the dirt to be completely dry, and as a result, it gets some good ruts in, and really, this is the toughest early race in the schedule.
Let's talk about Nick Way. Here's another rider. He's got the talent. He's got the bike. He certainly has Roger Acosta in his corner. What does he have to do to be a more consistent podium finisher?
I think that Nick Way has always been his own worst enemy. He doesn't ride with the confidence that he practices with. And you think hanging out a lot with Jeff Stanton like he does, his fellow Michigan, or, a 6-time champion is going to leave a lot of clues for you. And Nick ought to be picking those up. But, it's hard to teach confidence.
So Nick Way currently sits in 4th place. Our leader here in 250 heat number 1 continues to be Kevin Windham. He picked up the whole shot and has all but left the building like Elvis. Kevin Windham, your leader right now, as we watch Sean Hamlin and Nick Way battle their way through. This is 250 heat number 1. They're going 8 laps, the top 4 of the main event. Stick around and find out how it shakes down after this. Welcome back to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Georgia. Your leader, number 14, Kevin Windham out of Centerville, Mississippi. He took the whole shot, has all but checked out, and Windham on the Honda CRF 450R AMSOL Chaparral Honda sponsored bike is just absolutely flying. And I know for the rest of the pack, knowing the motivation, David, he has to get 2 wins in a row. This is dangerous stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that Chad Reed sitting down the starting gate in the 2nd heat, thinking, hoping that his rider, his teammate David Vuillemin, can get up there. But right now, Windham looks really tough.
Well, here's the battle for 4th. Number 27 is Nick Way on board the Suzuki. Number 62 is Travis Preston. All 6'2" of them. Preston looking serious. Going after, you know, in his shift gear, he's got a Special Forces patch. And right now, he looks like the hunter.
He was very impressive in his debut in the 250 class last week in Minnesota. I can tell you, he moved up through the pack very smooth, very quietly. If he rode that well out west, Ivan Tedesco might not have those 5 wins.
Travis Preston may be one of the most underrated riders out there. Number 62, Preston has just been awesome as he made the transfer to Hesperia, California in the Honda CRF 450R AMSOL Chaparral Honda. Travis Preston is certainly a guy who has a future in this sport in his class.
Yeah, the 2 guys he's coming up behind, Hamlin and Way, those are 2 guys that he is going to be dealing with during the offseason as he goes for a full-time 250 job. As we mentioned last week on the program, he pointed out...
Oh, he gets it done!
Almost right there.
Well, as we sing the accolades of Travis Preston, he goes awfully high there, Davey. He left the door wide open.
But he's going to be a 250 rider full-time next year, so he's racing against these guys as hard as he possibly can, even in his heat races, because he's hoping the factory teams are looking at him and saying he's not just a 125 rider. Travis Preston can ride in the big bike class. And he's 6'3", of course he can.
No question. He might be playing for the Lakers if this doesn't pan out for him. There's Nick Way, number 27, Travis Preston, number 62, trying to get that position back. Remember, the top 4 go to the main event, and Nick Way is holding the last golden ticket to Willy Wonka's main event. Here comes Preston one more time. Does he have the chance with the white flag coming up?
There's the block pass. There's the block pass.
Oh, my.
Well done. Didn't even touch him.
And I know that makes the AMA very happy. So Travis Preston moves up 1 position. He now is in the final transfer spot. Nick Way, the Suzuki rider, trying to find a way to get around him. If you're just joining us, Kevin Windham is out in front. David Vuillemin, number 12, in second. Sean Hamlin, number 36, and here he comes again.
Travis Preston just left the door open right there, and Nick Way very smoothly, very cunningly just snuck right up in there. He got that transfer spot back. Now he's got to hold it for 1 more half lap. If he does so, Preston's going to have to go to the semi.
250, heat number 1. Nick Way currently sitting in 4th place. A very pivotal position as Travis Preston gets on the gas hard here. He's following the same line. Do you think he's got him set up?
Well, he does, but he's might have to make contact this time because Nick Way knows it's coming, and he went just a little too far. It's going to come down to this corner. Whoever holds it on longest, and Way's going to hold it on. And Kevin Windham very quietly takes the win. And a little further back, it's still Way and Preston.
Oh, my!
Here's the sprint. It's going to be a photo finish, and it's Preston.
Well, we forget about Kevin Windham. Our apologies, young man. Vuillemin gets second, Hamlin third, but what a great battle for 4th place. And Travis Preston gets it by a knobby on the Dunlop. Kevin Windham, your winner. Now, the lap time there, 55.54, but with the injury, it slowed everyone down. Well, how close is Supercross? Kevin Windham checked out. Watch number 27 and number 62 battling for the final transfer position. And I'll tell you what, it all comes down to some extra thick Bridgestones as Travis Preston comes through. Look at that. It doesn't get much closer than that. Preston gets the nod as we take a look at our final results. Well, first of all, we'll send it down to Robbie Floyd.
Kevin Windham takes a very impressive win out there, K-Dub. This track owes you a little bit, and it didn't give you much that time. You did it all.
Yeah, I felt great out there. You know, my bike's working great. My CRF 450 Honda's working great. Amsel, Factory Connection, Chaparral, just all doing a great job for backing me, and I feel great tonight. I'm looking forward to putting 2 years behind me, hopefully having a good result, and trying my hardest to put two in a row together.
As we take a look at our official results, it is Kevin Windham picking up the victory, David Vuillemin in second, Sean Hamlin in third, and Travis Preston grabs fourth. 250, heat number 2 from the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. As we take a look at the starting grid, Chad Reed, Mike LaRocco, Damon Huffman, Heath Voss, Grant Langston, Tyler Evans is in there, as is Joe Aloff, and number 25, Nathan Ramsey. Andrew Short also, and David Pingree back in the running, the electronic ping, number 71.
See Chad Reed right there. He's got to be the heavy favorite, and he's also going to be thinking, he just watched Kevin Windham win the first heat. He wants to get out there and match him, but off the start, it looks like it's going to be Andrew Short coming in from the outside, and there's Huffman, and on the inside,
Grant Langston had a good run.
Grant Langston. So it's Short and Ramsey. Pretty good start for the RM250.
Grant Langston looked like he was going to sneak in there, but the line just closed down on him, so it's Short going out in front. Nathan Ramsey currently sits in second place, and here comes Grant Langston trying to sneak up on number 128. That's Wilson. Then it's Chad Reed, currently sitting in fifth.
Andrew Short's another rider who's earning his living this year, riding the 125 West, and you know, I think his results have actually been a little better, or at least his potential has been better since he moved to the 250. The RM125 is a great bike, but out there against all those four-strokes in California, he's had a tough go of it. Moving up to the 250 as the series comes back east, I think it's been a good thing for him.
He takes the green flag. Andrew Short, who has run our helmet cam a time or two out of Murrieta, California, as Davey pointed out on the Suzuki RM250, MotorWorldRacing.com, American Suzuki and Fly sponsored rider. Number 8 is Grant Langston on board the KTM. He currently sits in third, and in second place, number 25, Nathan Ramsey. But here comes Chad Reed right on the back door of the Zulu Warrior.
And remember what happened last week in that heat race. Chad Reed came through those whoops so fast that he couldn't stop. Ran into the back of Grant Langston. A couple people were saying, oh, he's got to be fined 10 points or whatever. But that was a total accident. And Reed put it behind him real quickly, but it affected Grant Langston for the rest of the night. I think that Chad will probably take his time a little more this time. They are good friends off the track.
Well, Grant Langston was coming off that injury in Houston where he went off the track and landed on concrete, and then his good friend from Australia decides to take him out in the first one. But you pointed out, Chad did not mean to do that. He had so much speed, he just checked up, and he just slid right into the back of Grant. He makes the pass, so Reed now moves into third place, Langston in fourth, and those two will qualify if the positions stay as they are. Number 28, Heath Voss, is currently sitting in fifth.
Well, tonight marks Mike LaRocco's 199th 250cc main event, if he makes it. But as it stands right now, he's still got to pass a couple of people, and Grant Langston's the one who holds the fourth and final transfer position. I expected LaRocco to get off to a better start. Then again, LaRocco never gets a whole shot.
Well, every now and then Mike gets a good start, but he'll tell anyone who will listen, if he gets his start dialed in, he's going to be up there, but he's got to get that whole shot, which you pointed out, that has been his Achilles heel. Mike LaRocco currently sitting in sixth place, and LaRocco out of Indiana looking to get that 199th main event start.
Chad Reed starting to get a little closer to Nathan Ramsey, yet another rider who rides the 125 West, who made the jump up to the 250 class, trying to show the factory teams what he's got on a big bike. And you know, so far so good. A couple top 10 rides for Nathan. This is a guy who won a 250 main event a couple years ago in Pontiac, Michigan. You see Chad Reed got his timing off a little bit right there, but Ramsey, he's a better than a 7th place finisher in the 250 class.
So Chad Reed will bide his time momentarily. He is in a transfer position, currently sitting in third here in 250 heat number 2. Ramsey, number 25, will hold him off for as long as he can. You're watching 250 heat number 2 for Atlanta. Stick around. Will Chad make the pass, or will Short win it all?
Matter.
Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. It's now time for the Honda All Access. We'll get back to 250 heat number 2 in just a moment. The great thing about Supercross, it is fan-friendly. Come into the pits, pick up all the merchandise you want, shirts, hats, everything is on hand. And we've got a great setup here in Atlanta, Georgia at the World Congress Center just next door to the Georgia Dome. It's Honda's All Access here at Supercross Weekend. Now back to Heat 2 in the 250 class. Welcome back to Atlanta, Georgia. You are looking at your leader in the 250 heat number 2. That is Andrew Short out of Murrieta, California on the Suzuki RM250 MotorWorldRacing.com ride. Picked up a great hole shot, as you see on the graphic. He has led the 3 laps into this thing already. But Chad Reed is closing in and closing in fast.
Yeah, Chad dispatched of Nathan Ramsey right before the end of the last lap. He's got 2.5 laps to go. And right there, it comes up on the inside. He is already looking for a way around, comes around the inside. Look at that old school dirt track. And Chad Reed takes over the lead.
Well, the tricky part about that corner they were coming into is there's that little bit of a roller, so you do have to break up just a little bit. Chad closed down the line of Andrew Short, and here comes number 22. He will come around in first place as they come through one more time. With just about 3 laps to go, it's Reed, Short, Ramsey, and Langston in the final transfer position with Heath Voss and Mike LaRocco right now on the outside looking in. Talk about the patience of Chad Reed. In years past, I think he might have pushed a little harder, but knowing that this is an 8-lap race and knowing the talent that he has, do you think that's a mental decision on his part to just pick and choose his lines better rather than try to rush to the front?
Well, sure it is. There's a much bigger picture at play here for Chad Reed, but you know what? I don't think he wanted to lose 2 heat races in a row. I thought he was so impressive last week at the Metrodome after he crashed with Langston. The way he came back through, he kept clawing. He worked his way up to second. He really looked disappointed. So for him to come back through the pack tonight, yeah, he didn't have sort of that same frantic pace. He didn't need it, but I know he wanted to win. And now LaRocco has gotten within striking distance of Langston and Voss, and that's the key to a direct transfer to the main event. And he goes around Voss, as you see Reed already. He's pulled away from Andrew Short, who was second, and still holding on to second, but starting to get a little pressure from Ramsey now.
Getting set to see the white flag. Your leader, number 22, Chad Reed, out of Dade City, Florida, originally out of Australia on the Yamaha YZ250. Yamaha Motorcorp Bridgestone. He's wearing the Scott goggles, the Thor gear. He's got it all going on. This kid is cool indeed, and you see him. You know, these guys all have the toys. They all have the fun, but Chad Reed really epitomizes a business-like position.
And now you've got Langston. He's got trouble because here comes Mike LaRocco. Langston having a tough go of it in the 250 class this year. It's about to get a lot tougher. There goes LaRocco. I love that little section right there they just went through. The back and forth. Look at Langston taking a look over. He's already riding defensively. And, you know, that ain't going to work with Mike LaRocco. Good move by LaRocco.
Well, Grant Langston right there was almost anticipating it rather than riding his own race. Now, with the white flag out, he's got 1 lap to try to reel in Mike LaRocco. So LaRocco in the 4th and final qualifying position. LaRocco out of South Bend, Indiana on a Honda CR250R. Amsel Chaparral. Oh, look at this.
Nice move by Langston, but he did push him out. It was a very, very good effort. He could have put him out into the grandstands, but you just don't do that to Mike LaRocco. I'll tell you what, Langston can't afford another penalty, but right there, that was the move that probably assured LaRocco his 199th main event. He just held on longer on the outside.
So Mike LaRocco currently sitting in 4th place. Grant Langston's got about a half a lap to try to reel him in. As we look at Chad Reed come through, he picks up the victory here in heat number 2. Nathan Ramsey will hold on for 2nd place, and it looks like Short will grab 3rd, and look at LaRocco. Langston's just going to run out of time. LaRocco checks in for the 4th, and he's done it. He gets his 199th main event start. And how about that? Chad Reed's got the energy to put on a little show for the folks. Nice lap time, too, at 55.5. Your winner, Chad Reed. He's followed by Nathan Ramsey, Andrew Short, and Mike LaRocco going to yet another main event. Right now, let's send it down to Robbie Floyd.
Well, we got to see both sides of Chad Reed that time. You were calm, you were patient, you let the race come to you, and you took the win.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I had a really good start and kind of went to the outside, and then Langston just come around the inside. Just, you know, it's a good line, and it almost took me out. I just was not expecting it, but first turn ties are hooking up awesome, and, you know, I feel good out there in my Thor and caught some limited gear, and all the guys at Yamaha have been great, so I'm having fun.
Call your travel agent now. Get online, get your gear, get your tickets, and join us on March 13th in St. Louis, Missouri at the Edward Jones Dome. Watch Mike LaRocco go for 201. Then on the 20th, we're up at Indianapolis. RCA Dome is the site. And then on the 3rd of April, Silver Dome in Pontiac, Michigan. Again, get your tickets. Don't miss out on the action. It's a great show to see it live. Right now, it's time to check in with this week's edition of the Suzuki Question of the Week.
How many weekends a year are the teams on the road?
Thanks for asking. That's a pretty good question, actually. We're on the road quite a bit, so we're really not at home a whole lot. 28 races a year for the regular season, 16 Supercross, 12 outdoors. Then you have first seed to first World Supercross rounds over in Europe, and a few other rounds, Italy, a few other things mixed up in there, and the U.S. Open. So probably 35, maybe 40 weeks a year we're on the road. Thanks for asking the Suzuki Question of the Week.
So there's your Suzuki Question of the Week. Right now, let's take a look at our Thor qualifying results. 250 Semi 1, 250 Semi 2, and the LCQ. And this was the scene after 250 Semi number 2. Grant Langston getting to the face of the AMA officials. He has been disqualified, escorted. The battle continues from Georgia when we return. The THQ World Supercross GP and the THQ AMA Supercross Series. Todd Harris along with Davey Coombs and Robbie Floyd as we get set for the 250 main event. Right now it's time for our Nissan Rider Profile and Jason Thomas.
Hi, I'm Jason Thomas. I'm 24 years old on the Subway Fly Honda CRF 450, and just having a great time here racing, and looking forward to tonight. Obviously, Subway Sandwiches stepped in the beginning of 2003 and helped form the team with our team owner Chuck Schultz, and you know, luckily they decided to have me on the team, and it's been great. This is my second year with them, and couldn't ask for anything better. Along with Honda and Fly, just made a great team. We have great bikes and great support behind us. So we rely on guys like Yoshimura and Enzo Suspension and guys like that to make our bikes what they are, and they're doing a great job for us. You know, obviously they don't have the resources that a Honda or Yamaha would have, but I can't complain about my bike. It's really, really good. It's awesome being out here every weekend, and you know, I didn't get to race for 2 weeks, and you know, after 2 weeks I was already missing it. You know, just sitting at home, and you don't realize how much you miss racing until you don't get to do it.
In the words of the late, great Chris Farley, it is definitely go time. As we take a look at Jason Thomas, he'll be running our helmet cam tonight in the 250 main event. They are going 20 laps. Chad Reed is out there as we take a look at our Suzuki starting grid. Kevin Windham, Nathan Ramsey, and the usual suspects. On a night where we've seen almost anything, Davey Coombs, your selection.
Well, it's definitely not Grant Langston, because I think he's whole shot his way back to the hotel already. But how can you choose between Reed and Windham? I think it's going to depend on the Butterfinger hole shot. And here it goes. And right up the inside, it looks like it's going to be Damon Huffman on the outside. Can he hold it to the line? It's Huffman. Damon Huffman, your World Supercross GP points leader. Mike Byrne is second. Reed is third. And then it's Vuillemin and Nick Way. Kevin Windham riding him out ninth.
So Damon Huffman out in front, number 20 on board his Honda, trying to work some magic tonight. The Butterfinger hole shot goes in for Huffman. Byrne's up there. Here comes Chad Reed. And I'll tell you right now, Michael Byrne could be Damon Huffman's best friend. The two Australians dueling, but it's Huffman out in front.
Damon Huffman, just a lightning start on the Moto XXX Honda. He came from the far outside. You don't often see a Butterfinger hole shot come from there, but on a start like this, it can be anyone's game. And here comes Chad Reed along the inside. Byrne takes the high line, a little bit of contact. Well done on both those guys' part. It looks like Reed's got the inside line.
So Chad Reed moves up a position as the green flag is out, folks. We are just getting started. Damon Huffman in first, Chad Reed in second, Michael Byrne in third, David Vuillemin in fourth. As we take a look at the Butterfinger hole shot replay one more time, it looked like Byrne had the line.
Yeah, but way on the outside. Huffman comes in, he keeps the power on that 450 Honda. Vuillemin almost snuck it by on the inside, but Huffman's got himself $1,500 courtesy of Butterfinger.
Back to our racing action. Damon Huffman now being pursued by Chad Reed, number 22. And look at the drive Reed. He goes inside, he goes outside, and Damon Huffman is just being swarmed The Aussie onslaught is on. Damon Huffman turning around one more time. The Honda and the Yamaha going head-to-head.
You know, he's riding really smart. He's riding aggressively. He's getting his wheel in there, but he's not hit either Byrne or Damon Huffman. He's letting it come to him. You see him on the outside there. Chad Reed is a very smart rider. He always reminds me of McGrath, the way he comes through the pack right there on the inside. 2 laps in a row, he made the same pass.
So Chad Reed goes to the lead. Damon Huffman did everything he could right there, but Reed got to the ground. His exit times are so fast. And watch this, the artistry at work. Kevin Windham is back in 6th, though. This is kind of unfortunate for him.
Yeah, he didn't get a very good start. He got pinched off. You see him right there in the box. He's riding in 6th place, but he's got some tough people he's going to have to pass, including Mike LaRocco in 5th and David Vuillemin in 4th. In the meantime, Reed's got himself, he's got a bumper with Damon Huffman there. Huffman's been riding well, but he's not riding as fast as Reed. Reed's starting to check out. And they see Vuillemin getting real close to Byrne. He's going to try inside now. Oh! What do you think, 8 points?
I don't even want to go there. I don't even want to go there. I just want to see these guys race. And Chad Reed brings it through one more time. As you pointed out, starting to distance himself from Damon Huffman. Here comes David Vuillemin now into 3rd. Huffman in 2nd. Byrne has slid back behind Mike LaRocco now, and he is sandwiched between LaRocco and Kevin Windham.
There you see him try to come along the inside, showing a little bit of wheel, but it's tough to do on corners like that. On those 90-degree turns, it's really hard to get inside unless you basically land inside someone. So Windham not able to get around Byrne as quickly as Chad Reed did there on our 2nd lap.
Windham trying to pull even right now with Michael Byrne. Remember, Byrne was holding off Chad Reed for about a lap until Reed went by him and now has found himself in 1st place. Now Damon Huffman has got David Vuillemin on the back of him. And meanwhile, Chad Reed continues to lead. Windham trying to get around Byrne. Byrne squares it off nicely.
Lots of action coming through those whoops. I think right here, Windham's got the inside line. Takes it easy on him. And looked like Byrne was afraid he was going to get hit again. And that time he backed off, but he backed off too much.
So Windham moves up yet another position. He is now in 5th place. And look at this. David Vuillemin, number 12, on board the Yamaha, doing battle with Damon Huffman. And this is the battle for 2nd place. Meanwhile, Chad Reed has got smooth sailing out here on the Georgia red clay.
Very impressed by the start of Damon Huffman. I know that we saw Chad Reed come up and go right by him, but he's done a fantastic job this main event. We're a quarter of the way through. He's still holding on to 2nd. Riding with some confidence. He's got some company now, but as long as he can stay ahead of Vuillemin, they're going to push a little ways away from the 2 Hondas coming up behind him, and that's LaRocco and Windham.
Well, we've got Damon Huffman on the screen, and David Vuillemin looks like he's going to come up and try to make a run on the outside. Vuillemin squares it off and gets past him, so Damon Huffman will slide back to 3rd place. But what's important here, Davey Coombs, is Damon Huffman is in a battle for the World Supercross GP point standings with Grant Langston out of the picture tonight because he was disqualified for his get in the face of the AMA officials. And Tyler Evans way in the back of the pack, currently in 10th. He is going to make up some huge points and distance his lead.
I know it, but I tell you, I know the way Damon is. He's much more competitive than I think a lot of people think. He wants a podium, a real podium, out there with all the top talent. He's not thinking about the guys behind him. I think he likes to be right in the thick of it.
So Chad Reed continues to lead, lap 6 of 20. This is the 250 main event from Atlanta, Georgia. Reed did not get the whole shot, but he has looked very good throughout, passing not 1, not 2, but 3 riders en route to his current position. Reed will bring it through one more time with the throttle nearly wide open as he flies through. David Vuillemin now will try to track him down. When we come back, we'll find out if his teammate David Vuillemin can reel him in. You are watching the 250 main from Atlanta. Georgia. This is the 250 main event. You are looking at your leader, number 22, on board the Yamaha. That is Chad Reed. He currently turns in the last lap time of 56.3, but the battle behind him in 2nd place between David Vuillemin and Kevin Windham, and this should be a great race to the podium. Vuillemin, number 12, sitting in 2nd on board the Yamaha. Number 14 on board the Honda is Kevin Windham.
Well, Windham's still got plenty of time to get after Reed, but he's got to get around Vuillemin first. And you can see they're getting ready to lap Damon Huffman. You see right there on the side of the picture, I think Damon Huffman twisted his knee on the previous lap. So after a great start for the Moto Triple X rider, he's pretty much going to the back. And now the battle for second is on. You see Vuillemin, it looks like he's kind of riding a little tentatively, and Windham is trying as hard as he can to get by him. This is a great place for passing right here.
Kevin Windham did not have the best start. He was shuffled back to 6th position, but he has quietly worked his way up. Look at Vuillemin, looking over his right shoulder, no one there. And Vuillemin goes high and drops down low. Here he comes to the whoop section.
Yep. It almost looked like Vuillemin let him go right there.
I don't think he knew where he was. He looked over the wrong shoulder, and I think he just thought, maybe I've lost him. Meanwhile, Damon Huffman is pulled off, and I think you're right. The knee is really bothering him as he takes a look down.
There's a possibility that he could have his bike stuck in first gear because as slow as he was going, but the way it doesn't look like he's in pain, but it did look like he was looking down, maybe like what happened to Bubba in the 125 class back in Houston. He broke a shifter.
Yeah, and Bubba was stuck in 3rd gear, so a lot better for Bubba than it was for Damon Huffman, if that is in fact the case. But Huffman is pulled off to the side of the race, unfortunate because he got a great hole shot, led for a couple races until Chad Reed overtook him. And you are looking at the battle for second. Number 14 is Kevin Windham. On board the Amstel Chaparral Honda. Behind him on board the Yamaha is David Vuillemin, being tutored by the great David Bailey. And right now I think Bailey's trying to work all his magic possible to get his rider back up in this fray.
Well, Kevin Windham has ridden with confidence ever since he got here this week, and I'll give him credit for that. Breaking your femur has got to be just the gnarliest injury, and we've seen a lot of guys who weren't able to come back from something like that, like a Greg Albertine, and even to some extent Damon Huffman. But for Windham to come back and win 3 Supercrosses this year and then come back to the Georgia Dome where it happened and ride this well all night long, it's very impressive. I think Windham's in it for the long haul. A lot of people are worried about how fragile he was mentally because he was always sort of a fragile rider coming up through the ranks, but I think he's growing up before our eyes. He might not be winning, but he's winning something different.
We talked about at the top of the show how important it was for Kevin Windham to string together 2 victories in a row, not only for his confidence, but the points race. If he does not get the victory tonight and has to settle for second, if you look at David Vuillemin in 3rd, do you think that's a shot to his confidence, and do you think he's still in the race?
Well, he's certainly still in the race, but you know what? Kevin Windham was thinking that, but so was Chad Reed, and Chad Reed knows what he's doing. That guy is so solid. He reminds me of Jeremy McGrath. He reminds everyone of Jeremy McGrath, not only on the way he rides the bike, but I think the way he attacks at the beginning of the race, the way he thinks out there. He probably knew that Windham could really get the ball rolling. Maybe the same way that Chad was able to do with Ricky Carmichael last year, so Chad made sure not to let that happen.
You've definitely got to disrupt Chad Reed's flow, and that is what that man is trying to do. Stay with us. Find out if Kevin Windham can reel in Chad Reed. We're back in a moment.
2003.
We're back in Georgia. This is the 250 main. I'm sure of that. And Chad Reed right now, I'm sure, is your leader. He is out in front. Kevin Windham, a distant memory right now as Chad has run pretty much a perfect race so far, Davey.
Well, he's been doing that all year long. We were talking about the beginning of the show. If he gets the whole shot award from Butterfinger, he goes on to win. If he gets a bad start, he hangs back and does the right thing. He's just a really smooth, smart rider. He doesn't have to win every race in his mind. What he wants is to win this championship, and that's how you get championships. You ride consistent, you ride smart, and when the other guy comes up and challenges you, you stop the challenge, and that's exactly what he did to Kevin Windham.
Chad Reed out of Dade City, Florida, originally from Australia, on board the Yamaha, sponsored by Scott and Thor, putting him out on the track, but it's Chad Reed's talent that's picking him the victories right now. He's got a great team supporting him as we take a look at our Keystone running order. It's Reed, Windham, LaRocco, Vuillemin, and Travis Preston now running in the top 5.
You see the track get gnarlier and gnarlier, and Reed is able to just pop right through there very easily as white flag comes out. You know, he's just really good.
Smooth is the word that comes to mind when you watch Chad Reed. And folks, if you're in the stadium, if you're watching at home, get the TiVo ready, because this will be a special lap as he goes around, salutes the fans who have turned out here in the Atlanta Georgia Dome. You know, Chad Reed has reason enough to get online and buy some tickets for Vegas, St. Louis, Salt Lake, Dallas, wherever we're going next. You want to see one of the best in the world, you want to see this kid live. He is something special. Number 22 on board the Yamaha, Chad Reed. Half a lap to go, and he will pick up his 6th victory on the year.
See him just taking his time through here, taking it easy. And you know, you can never be too careful because the way the tracks are. Takes a look back over his shoulder. He's not going to see Kevin Windham. Windham has faded out of the picture. So he bounced through a couple more laps. You see some of the lap riders. Andrew Short, Nick Way behind him, but no match for Chad Reed tonight.
Your winner in Atlanta, Georgia, Chad Reed with the victory. And the clock continues to tick as second place comes through. This is how dominant his performance was tonight. Kevin Windham, a tremendous rider, currently running second overall. He will pick up second tonight. He had to do a lot of passing, but in the end, he just didn't have the juice to catch up with Chad Reed. But we got a good race as LaRocco comes through. Vuillemin looks like he will hold on to 4th place. And Travis Preston gets into the top 5. So a great race for everyone, especially Chad Reed. Davey, you know, if you're his coach, what do you tell him? I mean, he's pretty much doing everything, as you said, that he needs to do to win a title.
You tell him to sleep in tomorrow because he's doing everything right. You don't want to mess with perfection, and that was just about as perfect ride as I've seen. He didn't get the start, but he was right there. He was methodical the way he came through the pack, and then he just flat checked out.
So Reed takes the victory lap. You know, his victory lap is even cool. And Chad Reed has just been smooth all weekend long. A lot of talk about Kevin Windham. He's from Centerville, Mississippi, coming back to the spot that he broke his femur 2 years ago to the day. And I think sentimental favorites would say we want to see Windham get the victory, get 2 in a row. But Wyndham's a class act as he goes around, waves to the fans. But your winner tonight, clearly the best rider on the track, was number 22, Chad Reed.
I think that goes without saying. Windham put in a really good ride, but, you know, if you don't start with the kid, you can't finish with the kid. And that's one thing we haven't been able to see as those two guys start out first and second since we were back at Anaheim. And I don't know, the rest of the series should be fantastic because Chad Reed's at the top of his game. And I think Windham, this was really good for his confidence. He got over the hump.
So Chad Reed gets a sip of water. He'll get set to take the trophy when we come back. We'll talk to your winner in the 250 main event, Chad Reed. Stay with us. Conclusion of the 250 main event. What a great night of racing here in the Georgia Dome. Right now, let's send it down to the field and Robbie Floyd.
Iron Mike LaRocco, 199 Supercrosses, and you ended in good fashion. Congratulations on the 3rd and another podium.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Actually, I'm happy to be here tonight, considering I rode like a wuss. But I just didn't feel real good all day today, so you know, I just kind of did what I had to do to get as many points as I could, and here I am.
You had the speed, but a tough start.
It's kind of the other way around. Better start, no speed. I just kind of felt clumsy tonight, and they just kind of let it get to me. I just rode a cautious race, and that's not the way to win.
All right, thank you, Robbie. As we take a look at our Honda 250 main event results, your winner, Chad Reed, followed by Kevin Windham, Mike LaRocco, David Vuillemin, and Travis Preston. Then it's Heath Voss, Sean Hamlin, Michael Byrne, Tyler Evans, and Andrew Short. Nick Wade checks in at 11th, Jason Thomas and our helmet cam in 12th, Joe Aloff in 16th. Right now, let's send it back down to Robbie Floyd.
Kevin Windham able to take seconds by KW. You got a little revenge on this track, but it just took it too long to get behind Chad.
Yeah, it took me a while to get up there to him. He got through the pack faster than I did. Kind of same story as last weekend. You know, he was able to get away, and you know, he went on to the win. Same as I did last weekend. Now I really wanted to string a couple together and get some momentum going my way this season, but this wasn't meant to be tonight. But you know, I'm happy to have a good race. Happy to put my Honda back up on the podium. I've been doing that a lot lately, and it feels really good.
Keep plugging at it. I know you're looking for that championship. What happened on the start?
Well, I don't know. I'd like to take a look at it, you know, from a camera standpoint. I felt that, you know, Chad was aggressive underneath. We actually made contact. Almost went down, but I managed to keep it on 2 wheels. But I was just a little bit further back in the pack. I was one of the first ones down to the first corner. I just kind of came together with somebody and went back.
Congratulations on second.
All right, thank you, Robbie. Remember, it all culminates in Las Vegas, Nevada, the official destination of Supercross. Get your tickets now because it's going to be a great race. Go online and grab those and join us in the City of Lights. As we take a look at the point standings right now, well, first off, Chad Reed has been dominating, no question about it. Kevin Windham has had flashes of brilliance, but he's got to string together two. As we take a look at the THQ World Supercross GP points, Damon Huffman does himself a lot of good by staying out on the track despite the ankle injury. Well done to Damon. Right now, let's send it down to Robbie Floyd, who's with our winner.
You want to talk about consistency. 9 Supercrosses this year. What, you finished second in 3 of them, but 6 wins, man. That is consistently on top.
No, definitely. You know, it's last year I won a lot of races. You know, racing with Ricky, and I learned that when you're not winning, you got to be the next best guy, and that's what's helped me this year. Is just staying on the podium, trying to get the best points as possible, and just trying to make the best of every situation that I have. And I'd like to thank my trainer, Jeff Spencer, for keeping me in great shape. All the guys at Yamaha, all the guys at Thorpe, Hudson Limited, Scott and Bridgestone. I'm having a lot of fun out there, and they're sticking by me.
You look good on the start, but you didn't get the start. I mean, you worked your way up. You made it happen. I know you get tired of those Jeremy McGrath references out there, but you were patient. You looked so much like MC.
Yeah, I was sitting on the start line, and, I had 2 Honda guys on either side of me, and, it's a championship. So, I think those guys are trying to, stop beside me, and that's fun. I like that, and so I look forward to the other races, and, on the Jeremy McGrath, he's a great rider, and, I'd like to be half as good as him.
Consistency wins championships. 6 main events out of 9, that's consistent.
Well, Todd, the most dangerous thing for a rider in the points lead in a series is to give away the momentum. And all the stars were lined up tonight for a comeback one for Kevin Windham here in Atlanta. If he got a streak started, he's got the momentum. But you know what? Chad Reed just wouldn't let it happen. He really is just like Jeremy.
Our next show comes to you on Sunday, March the 14th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, as Mike LaRocco goes for a stunning 201st main event. Iron Mike on display in St. Louis. We hope you can join us. So that'll do it from Atlanta, Georgia. On behalf of Robbie Floyd and Davey Coombs, I'm Todd Harris saying good night from the Georgia Dome. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Your winner, Chad Reed. Good night from Atlanta.